We're live, and this is Michelle Rodriguez. She's in Dallas right now, right, Michelle?
Yes, in Dallas, so hot.
I know, well, everywhere. It's ungodly. I know the feels like temperature here in Atlanta is like 96,
Oh,
and there's
107 here.
the feels like it's 107.
The heat index, yeah.
So hopefully Kelly Mack will be along shortly. She's an amazing woman too, and I know that you are drinking a margarita.
Margarita. We'll tell the secret later. But
Okay. Let me. So I've made friends with liquor distributors. I don't know how I got so lucky, but they sent me, I'm not kidding you, like every flavor of the rainbow of this realingredients.com. Real, I think is how you're actually supposed to say it, but realingredients.com. So I'm going to use their blue agave nectar, but I'm not kidding you. They have like banana, pineapple, kiwi, coconut, and you can find them at, your grocery store and whatever. And I know that because this is it a Texas or a Mexico thing? Oh, Monterrey, Mexico.
Yeah, it's from northern Mexico. It's actually where my parents are from, and I never
really.
Yeah, and it's so traditional here. I mean, that's the go-to.
I know. Well, and I like the lime one. If you're not drinking alcohol or whatever, I really like the Topo Chico. It's mineral water with a twist of lime. This one, but it's kind of become well known or popular around here because I can't find it on the store shelves, but. But the guy that sent me this from realingredients.com and an embarrassing amount of other paraphernalia and mixers, he posted a video that The Rock posted. Dwayne Johnson, I guess who doesn't have their own brand of alcohol now? It's called Terramana. It's about this is obviously half of a normal size bottle, and they say a serving size is 1.5 ounces. That's hilarious. But I think it's his new gig, Terramana small batch tequila made in Mexico. This was I think $15, but the regular fifth of it is, and they have reposado too.
That's
but this
price.
What's that?
That's a very good price.
Yeah, but so the fifth of it though is like $30. And I looked at the liquor store today and I actually had to call a couple of places because they're selling out of this Terramana business. So smells like tequila. I like it already. But yeah, so they are selling out of it places. He's not kidding. And The Rock now has a house here in the area in Georgia.
Oh.
Because Atlanta and because of Tyler Perry is it's Yollywood, y'all. It's Yollywood. Okay, so tell everybody where they can hear you if they're in that market. But of course, they're with modern technology. There's plenty of ways that they can hear you on the radio. And are you all country?
It is all country. That's all I've ever known. Isn't that
okay? I know. Yeah. I've worked in everything from big band to country music, and I think we're not calling it urban anymore, like hip hop, and that's I think about the only thing I haven't worked in, or gospel.
Gospel, really?
I haven't done gospel
yet. Not yet. No, I do country music in Dallas. It's where I started. So I'm on 96.3, New Country 96.3.
Okay.
Colorado's Cat Country in Colorado Springs on 95.1. Forgetting
right.
You're right. They all start with a 9. That's a lot of tequila.
Well, that wasn't the tequila. That's actually, I'm pouring the whole bottle. This is like 12 ounces.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. I'm making a pitcher full, girl.
Okay.
I mean, I'd make you one, but you're a little far away. That was just the water. So I've already kind of measured things out or planned like at what point in the Red Hook little shot glass. This one actually has 3 ounces on it, which is what I need of the agave.
That's a good measuring cup. I
know, right?
The Rock make that. And I was like, I wonder how that agave tastes. Does it have it by itself, or like is it?
No.
What does it taste like?
I mean, it's a sweetener. I mean, is what agave is, and it's supposed to be. I think it's a natural sweetener, unlike not that sugar isn't a sweetener, but it's refined, and I think it's supposed to be higher on the glycemic index, so you don't need as much of it. But this is a lot, actually. That's a lot. I'm just saying. Okay, so I have to muddle. I'm going to muddle my 4 slices of jalapeno too. Did you put your jalapeno in your margarita? Michelle, oh, she's frozen. Now you're frozen. I hate it when that happens. Hopefully you'll come back to me. And I've had that happen to some people. And so if it continues to happen, you can sign out and sign back in. And now I'm a little worried about Kelly, but radio. We're usually like right on the button, right on time. But unfortunately, Michelle, you are frozen right now. So kick your computer, unplug it, plug it back in or something. I don't know, whatever you got to do, girl. Oh, there she goes. She's popped off. But how are you guys doing? How's everybody doing? I would love to hear you guys chime in and tell me what you're drinking. Doesn't have to be alcohol related. Just want to get everyone together on a Friday night for a little happy hour and a little conversation. Like Ian's here. You hate drinking alone, but it looks yummy. Yeah, I know. That's why we drink together, alone together. So I've got the cubes of watermelon, 3 ounces of agave nectar, 5 ounces of water, muddled that together with the jalapenos. Maybe I'll muddle that just a wee bit more because I put a lot. I've eaten so much watermelon in the last week. It's, literally a 20-pound watermelon by myself and then some, but I like it. I made those agua frescas last week. That is super delicious. I love those. A lot of watermelon, a little bit of strawberry and some cucumber. It's really, really good, guys. Really good. So again, thank you to Danny Williams for all the mixers and stuff. I've got stuff to make Bloody Marys. I got stuff to make all sorts of cocktails, and we will. Okay, so I didn't put the agave in there when I muddled it. So I'll do that now. I got sidetracked. Hopefully there's no connection issue, but there just might be. So Michelle will pop back on, I'm sure. And then hopefully we'll get to see Kelly Mack. She's awesome. She's been everywhere from Philly to Texas, I believe, and in between doing her radio thing. She's won tons of awards. Seems like an awesome girl. And by the way, I've never met these two before in my life, but with the state of everything, this is how we do things now. It's all, virtual. So now I'm going to add the fresh lime juice, and this is worth the squeeze. This is my fresh lime juice. Okay, I know I need 6 ounces of it. So this is 3 ounces. Oh God, there's a lot of, it's, you know what it is? It's frozen because I froze it. I made a bunch of it and froze it. So there's that. Okay, but that's okay. It's all going in the same place, as my mother used to say, or still does. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, what are y'all drinking tonight? It's legit. Oh, so wow. That was like a huge bag full of limes, and that's all the juice it gave me. One giant bag. I wonder if there's some connection problem. I did give them my phone number, so if they can't log back on for some reason, hopefully they can get back to me. Okay, so 12 ounces of tequila, and that's essentially what this is. It is 375 milliliters. It's what do they call it? A pint, handcrafted from Highlands agave. There we go, Terramana. We're doing that. And your girl forgot to turn on the ice maker, so that's an issue. Just bought this new pitcher, which I promptly busted promptly as I got home, so I don't want to pick it up by the handle. We're just going to give that a stir like so, and then hopefully I'll have a cocktail ready by the time Michelle gets back, and I do hope that Kelly Mack is okay. Let's see. Oh, that's going to be good, though. I just know it. I do know it. Okay, so we're just going to, let's see, mix that up. It does say to mix with ice, but I don't want to water it down too much because this is the cocktail of the weekend. I might even, ooh, yeah, now I smell it. Now I smell the tequila. Yum. I like tequila. I know it's not for everybody, but it's for me. Okay, so see, garnish my glass with a little lime wheel and a little watermelon slice. I've already got a giant ice cube in there, but I could put a few in there. I could even put the big ones in there. No harm, no foul. But yeah, that's, like I said, I don't want to pick up the pitcher by the handle, but guess what? I kind of need to. So let's see. It's getting messy in here. No. I can only assume Michelle is now having problems getting back in. Don't know why, unless maybe the network's down again. What was that due to? The disastrous T-Mobile thing. Oh, see, I don't want that ice cube in there. I don't want that one in there either. But here we go. They're in there. Maybe I could grab them out. I don't have any tongs that would be proper for that. But what you going to do? So, y'all, the recipe is right there. It's the first comment that I made. And then again, this is The Rock. He has his brand new tequila, Terramana tequila. And we'll see how good it is. There's Michelle. Hold on. She's like, Okay, there you are.
Oh my gosh.
What had
my
happened
power
was,
went out.
now I don't. Okay, there you go.
My power went out.
What?
It
Oh,
just
really?
like flashed out, and then of course the internet takes forever to come back. And I'm like, what the heck? And then
What
it
do you
comes back on. I'm like, did I forget to pay?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Cheers.
Oh, it's done.
It's done. Let's see. I got a couple of ice cubes I didn't want in there, and I didn't muddle it enough. But
Dude,
what you gonna do?
It looks so beautiful. You have to take a picture of that. Take a screen capture of yourself drinking.
Oh, that's really, 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 really good. It's pretty sweet. I think that recipe calls for a lot of agave. I don't think you need that much. That's a lot. 3 ounces.
Is the watermelon sweet enough?
Oh
Even?
yeah, yeah. I literally last week I made a non-alcoholic beverage. I made agua fresca with strawberries, watermelon, and a little bit of cucumber. Actually, I made it twice, but it's so good. And the watermelon, I bought a 20-pound watermelon at Costco. I bought like the biggest one I could find. So I've been eating a lot of watermelon this week, a lot of it, and it's super good.
Do you like cut it up in cubes and freeze it? Can you do that?
I could, I guess. I didn't even think about that. Although I have very little room in my freezer for anything. This is my friend Diego. He is from Quito, Ecuador. Ecuador, yeah. He's drinking regular gin and tonic, Marriott AC signature, of course. I don't know. Gin and tonics they're like really popular this summer. I mean, cheers to you.
Dude.
Cheers, salud. Yes. So tell me a little bit more about yourself. Were you, is Dallas your hometown?
Yes. Born and raised in Dallas. And then I went to school at Texas A&M.
Oh yeah.
God. And then,
Aggies?
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Aggies. But then I got my start at 99.5 The Wolf, which is the original Wolf. So everyone hears all these other Wolves.
Yeah.
The original Wolf. And the one that started this whole www listen online. Like they were the pioneers of all that.
Wow.
Mr. Brian Phillips, who you know well.
Yes. I mean, we both kind of know him. I mean, we know who he is. He's our boss's boss, basically.
The bosses of the boss.
He is. He is. Okay,
But
gosh,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. A little worried about Kelly, but what are you gonna do? I don't
Is she
know.
in the same time zone as you?
I think so. I think she's in Greenville right now, but I don't know. So anyway, so how are you doing? So I know because we work for the same company, Cumulus Media. I know that you have been home for quite some time. I know I've been home working from home from my kitchen countertop in my apartment since March 13th, Friday the 13th.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have you counted the days? Because I know a lot of people are counting days. They're like, oh, it's been.
It was over 100 days, like a week or two ago, couple of weeks ago, something like that.
I think we went into quote. Oh, you guys did it first because I think you guys had a positive case in your building first.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look at who's here. Wait a second. Kelly Mack. Hey girl, you missed the post.
I'm so sorry. I was trying to figure this thing out. It's my first time on this particular website. So yeah.
I know. Well, I'm so glad you're here. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, so Michelle, meet Kelly. Kelly, meet Michelle, unless you guys already know each other.
No, this way.
We don't, but are you guys ready for this? Interesting tidbit. My real legal name is Kelly Michelle.
Oh, really?
So you said Kelly Michelle, and I'm like, huh? How'd she know?
You know my
too. Right.
Oh my gosh. And where can people hear you maybe not right now, but currently on the radio? Because you've been all over, girl.
Yes. I've been in a few markets. So right now my show is still heard in South Carolina on the radio.com app on 96.3 The Block. And then, of course, my home station is my Cumulus flagship, which is Magic 102.5. And you can hear that on our app, which is Magic 102.5, or on the iHeartRadio app.
Okay. All right. They don't like it when we say that, Kelly. I'm just saying.
Really? Oh my God.
I know you can, but they're like, leave that one alone. I mean,
Okay.
our radio station, New Country 101.5, we have our own app.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I tell Alexa to listen to. And sometimes she listens to me. So anyway, but I'm glad you're here. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to the weekend.
What you got there?
I'm
drinking my watermelon margarita.
And I tried to find that tequila you told me about by The Rock because I just wanted to support him. But they said they were all sold out.
Yeah. The first place I called today, They said, yeah, they don't have any more. Cause I went on the website cause I was like, I don't want to run my arse all over town looking for this stuff. So I, put it in like the liquor finder, which by the way, there's a drop in there. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm drinking a classic Don Julio
My favorite.
margarita with lime juice.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good. Yeah. So, I mean, this is delicious. I have to say, and I like tequila. So I'm a tequila drinker. I recommend The Rock's tequila. I tagged him and everything. I almost wanted to like just slide him an invite, but I don't know if I can DM him on, slide into his DMs and say, by the way, you could join if you want.
Right.
You never know. You never know. Because he's got a place here in Yallywood in Georgia now. A big, I can't remember. Oh, I think it's in Powder Springs, Georgia. Because, I mean, they're making more movies in Atlanta or in the surrounding area than I think anywhere in the world now.
Right. So that's
like
where you're based
crazy.
out of Atlanta then.
Yep. I'm in Atlanta. Just heard on New Country 101.5 and when I'm doing these crazy things. So
nice.
So
what about you, Michelle?
I'm on 96.3 in Dallas, New Country 96.3 in Dallas.
Awesome.
And I was just telling her I'm in Colorado Springs and tomorrow starting in Detroit. So that's going to be fun. Not confusing all the new countries.
Yeah.
It's like I need to write them down and put them right in front of me. You know how that is.
Yes, I know.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work, girl.
It is. And hopefully one day you can become syndicated where you can just say the Michelle Rodriguez Show and be done with it and don't have to call out a station.
Amen.
Man.
Don't even have to call letters anymore. It's just like
I know.
Call letter.
That would be ideal. And so so where are you right now? Are you in South Carolina?
Right now I've been going back and forth between South Carolina and Texas. The COVID cases are like soaring high in Texas right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not flying or anything so when I do go, I drive.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I lived in Florida for 17 years and I went back for one of my furlough weeks. I'm on furlough again this week and I was going to go back, but between here, Georgia and Florida, it's it wouldn't be a good look, and I don't, I want to try to do the right thing. So I'm here and just, painting things. I've got like stain. I'm painting like little cafe sets and just trying to do my thing, make
That's
cocktails.
Awesome. Now, one of my furlough weeks, which was the last one, it was my second one, which was the one before this because it's week 3. But I did go down to Florida. I went to Clearwater because it's my favorite beach in the whole entire nation.
Really?
Yes. And I couldn't enjoy myself. I mean, I was disinfecting everything in the hotel, spraying everything down, asking for clean towels and sheets. And they're like, they're already clean. I want them fresh out of the dryer.
I want them to feel warm.
I actually went down to Galveston. It was one of my furlough weeks. It was the very first one right before Memorial Day when our cases were down. So this is right before they reopened. And I went and took all of my own stuff. So I took my towels, my pillowcases. I bought some new ones. But you're right. Like you don't feel comfortable. I wasn't. Like it was like I would stay in the car until nobody was around to get out and go on the beach. Like you are paranoid.
Oh,
absolutely. I stayed 2.5 days and I was like, this isn't fun. So I left and I came back. So
I stayed a week and I loved every minute. I was like, I want to go back.
We need
I don't care.
alcohol, Kelly. That's
right.
I know.
Yeah, we just needed to drink more.
I had plenty of that. I drove down too, and I literally had like a box full of alcohol. I mean, I should be embarrassed. I mean, especially since I've already recycled basically 4 cases of wine. I've recycled 4 cases of wine bottles. I mean, recycling, but
it's good for your heart too.
It is. And are we drinking red or white is the question.
Well, yeah, I drink a lot of white because as you know, I mean, it's hot. I lived in Florida for so long and Georgia's the same. It's so hot. I don't want to drink anything warm or hot, but anyway, have you guys been tested for either COVID or the antibodies or anything?
No. And I went to the doctor yesterday and I thought they were going to test me. I went for my physical.
Right.
They just act they stop you right as you get outside the elevator and they're like, have you ever been tested? And then they check your temperature and then they put a sticker on you with your temperature and it says negative. And I'm like, so I'm going around looking at everyone else and see what their sticker says.
Man, it's like a scarlet letter. They're like, this one.
Right.
Holy smokes. Yeah, I actually have my physical this week. And I'm going to tell you, I'll get tested. I actually even signed up because
Now, do you want
I think-
the actual test or the antibody test?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, both are kind of a little, I don't know how sure they are of the results, but I actually signed up to volunteer to take the vaccine. There's Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center is in my hometown of Seattle, and they're coordinating this trial. And I guess they're going to farm it out to like hundreds of people around the country. And so I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll do it. I don't care. I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid of vaccines, and I don't know. I want one because I want to see my family again. You don't?
Yeah,
I do.
I don't take the flu vaccine, and I'm asthmatic, so it's very important that I don't catch it. And if I do, to take care of myself. I have a friend that's fighting right now who's in radio, and I will protect his privacy, but he's still doing his show. But in the middle of the night, he wakes up in these cold sweats. He wakes up, fighting for breath and life. He said he's okay in the daytime, but at night, it's like, it's something different about it at night. I don't know if it's because your body is relaxed or whatever, but he's high risk too because he has diabetes and high blood pressure.
Oh gosh. I mean, but that's the thing. Like, that's why I would take this vaccine, because both of my parents are elderly. My dad is diabetic. My younger brother had a kidney transplant from my dad 20 years ago. Wow. I mean, there's just, if I want to see my family again, I got to make sure that I am not infected. And I would, obviously to me, it's not a big deal to take a vaccine. I've taken them all. So I am the vaccinator. No,
I just hope it's effective, that it actually, and I guess we won't find out immediately. We're going to have to wait like a year or something.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah. They got a lot of people that have volunteered to test the vaccination, and also to go through a series of tests where they actually give you COVID and they try different treatments. And my friend that's being treated right now, he's under a very aggressive treatment, which I hadn't even heard of yet, but they're making him go every morning for 5 days to have IV injections of antibiotics.
Really?
Antibiotics. Yeah. And then this weekend, they'll put him on a Z-Pack. And then he'll come back next week to see if he still tests positive or not. But they gave him steroids, the antibiotics, and it's I don't know. I don't want to be anybody's lab rat, I want to know.
I got nothing else going on. I'm good. I'm okay. I mean, I'll take one for the team, girls.
Your body to science after all of this.
Right? Yes, my brain is no good, but my body, it's still kicking. We'll see.
Right.
So what has the, other than your quarantine stuff, or your furloughs, I should say, what have you both been busy doing? Has this changed your world at all as far as the quarantine and just working from home goes? Are you working a side hustle, or are you doing anything else, or any other discoveries you've made about yourself?
I'll let you go first, Michelle.
So nice of you. No, I really I'm such a homebody as it is. I think because we work so much in concerts and stuff, and we're out every weekend, and that's what this year was supposed to look like here in Dallas. We had a show every weekend, and it was like, oh my God.
Right.
I hate life being out in the 107 degrees. And now that it's gone, it's like, man, I miss bitching about concerts. I really do.
I know.
But no, I've stuck to doing yard work, which sucks right now. Outdoors and do stuff around the house. But I really haven't done much of anything else other than, radio and trying to, I guess, better yourself and the technology that's out there and ways to reinvent everything. I think you're trying to just see what everyone else is doing and say, hey, maybe I should try that.
Yeah.
Right. People doing video editing. I'm not very good at that, but my nephew is all into, who's, by the way, 5. He's like, I want to record myself while I'm playing games. Can you tell me how? And I'm like, I don't know how, but I guess I'm going to learn you.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's
I've been
hilarious.
to teach him. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. That's
funny.
great.
I learned about InShot, which I thought was pretty cool. It's an app, and you could take different videos and pictures and kind of put them together. If you don't have videography skills or video editing skills. So I've been doing, that and kind of playing with video as well. I've done a lot of IG lives and Zoom. Oh my gosh. That's my favorite thing that I've learned about quarantine is Zoom.
Yeah.
Because Zoom has connected me. I had a interview with somebody with COVID-19 when they first got it, like right at the beginning of the pandemic. So like
Right.
everyone was like intrigued, like, oh my gosh. So we went on Zoom. Right. And we went live and she's like with a mask on and she's like, and her kids are in the background. And she's like, oh yeah, I cook for them because no one else can. And when they're around, I wear the mask. And people were like going crazy. And we were talking about, she was like, I was sitting at home and I realized I wasn't well and I had 103 temperature. So I called 911. So like she put everybody at risk and, with the medic unit. And then after they, took the test, it took her like 8 days to be diagnosed. So she had exposed all these people to it, including the Uber driver that picked her up from the hospital.
Oh my God.
And it was the craziest interview.
She's a super spreader.
Exactly. That's exactly.
She's a super spreader.
Did all the wrong things.
My
exactly.
gosh.
Yeah,
it's like we really didn't know. So it's like,
I know.
But she said she had the flu before and the flu was worse than COVID-19. So I guess it just affects different people different ways.
It does. It does. But I still don't want it.
I don't want any parts of it.
I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if my doctors look at me like I'm crazy. All my friends and everybody in radio looked at me like I was crazy when I was, when this thing first busted out. So this would have been like kind of in February is when we started to kind of get wind, right, of everything going on. And I had a Facebook friend post about like these N95 masks. I was like, all right, I don't know. I went for tacos and a couple margaritas. And then I went to Home Depot and Lowe's trying to find them. And they were like, oh, we sold out 4 hours ago. Oh, we're out of those. And I was like, oh, snap. This is going to get crazy. And I happened to go like the next day to get a Costco sized bundle of toilet paper, like what is that, bale of hay or whatever. And I've only needed to replenish like once, when you're a single person and you shop at Costco. So I'm like, all right, it lasts a long time. But yeah, everyone thought I was nuts, which I am. But I was prepared. And I think because I was doing voiceover for 2.5 years before I landed here in Georgia, I was in Florida for 17 years, worked for 4 different radio stations, but 2 different radio companies, and, started my own voiceover business. And I just was used to being alone and home alone and kind of like it. So I've been okay. But I've definitely had some friends, freaking out and not doing well and, having a hard time with everything. But I'm like, just with anything in life, you really need to kind of roll with the punches and adjust to the circumstances. And that goes for, people losing their jobs too. Believe me, I lost my job. I feel terrible for you, but you can either spend time kind of bemoaning that, or you can just figure out a way to make it work, figure out a way to make money. And there are lots of ways, but you have to learn new skills. Everybody does every year.
Yeah, I recommend anybody that's like furloughed or laid off right now, like more than a week at a time, sign up for some online classes. What is that thing that interests you? Like, I know some people were furloughed like 90 days, some people 6 months, some people till the end of the year. Like if I were in that position, I would be taking online classes about digital media. One thing I've always been intrigued about is like analytics, and how is it that when I go to google.com and I type in, lawyers in Houston, Texas, those top 5 always pop up no matter what search engine it is, they're paying for it and they're pushing for it. I want to know how to do that so I can have a side hustle.
There are like Ivy League schools right now that are offering online classes for free. If you just Google like free online classes, go for it. You can learn about everything and anything and get a certification, or even if it's not free, for like $25-$50 or whatever. And it's obviously going to be worth it. Yeah,
definitely.
One. Like it was a hard one. The Key to Happiness. I didn't finish it. It sounds typical life.
You're happy enough, Michelle.
But it wasn't like something I could use, but I know something mentally would help me, like just to find happiness. What is happiness? And it was like the discovery of happiness. I'm like, why am I so into this? But it was during one of those furlough weeks that it was like, what am I going to do with myself? And I feel like when I've had friends that they're like, oh, I'm on furlough for 90 days. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? Like, it would drive me crazy not doing something to, better myself or find another opportunity. because
Yeah.
you don't know what's going to be at the end of that 90 day. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You
I mean, yeah, I mean, you have to just make good use of your time. I mean, and you know, if you are getting unemployment, I mean, go for it. I mean, use that time and that money to better yourself, to learn a new skill. I mean, you know, don't want to sound preachy. I already had two
No,
people come for me today, like about my attitude about COVID-19 and whatnot.
what was it? Oh,
Oh, there was one guy that was all pissed off that I unfriended him. And I'm like, listen, and he's like, oh, you unfriended me because we shared a difference of opinion about those two California docs that you were trying to censor. You know, those two guys that were from Bakersfield. I lived there many, many years ago. They were not, one of them was not even board certified, and they did their own study about, you know, herd immunity and all this. It's just like, please don't come for me. And, you know, what I said on Twitter, and I probably should have said to him, although I said something else, I said, you know, I didn't unfriend you because we have a difference of opinion or our politics differ. I unfriended you because you're an a-hole. I mean, and that's the truth. That's the truth. You know, we can all have a difference of opinion.
A lot of unfriending too. I think that this pandemic has brought out the best in some and the worst in others.
Yeah.
You know, and there's certain people that have posted, and I'm like, oh my God, did you just post that and we're friends? Like, no way. You know, so
I've been feeling about stuff. It's like, whoa.
Right. Especially when everything was going on after the death of George Floyd, you know, we saw some very strong opinions and stances out there, and left or right. My whole thing is, you know, when you get to a point where you're being hateful towards anyone, I don't care if it's Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, when you get to a point of hatred, I have no time or space for that in my life. And I don't want you on my timeline, so I'll delete you. Yeah. And it just got really bad out there. And I was just like, wow, is this really how people are feeling? Or, you know, have they been hiding it? Is it an emotional thing? What's going on?
I mean, on the one hand, sometimes you're glad when people show themselves, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know what's coming, or you know what to expect from them. But it's also like, I don't need that in my space. I don't need your vibes. Sorry.
I usually like I unfriend them because most of the time, like I would accept everybody, especially on my Facebook page, because I know they're listeners, and I would accept them. I'm like, whatever. Like I don't have anything private that I post here. I'm not an idiot. I post my life there. But then I would see the post, and I'm like, well, who did I friend? Who is this person? I'll go see my mutual friends, and I'm like, oh, this person, I don't even know who they are, and like they feel this way. Like, do you realize that my last name is Rodriguez?
Right.
I mean, yeah.
You know what
I mean, what are you gonna do?
Oh, you're different from them.
No,
I've heard that my entire life too. So yeah, unfortunately.
Kelly, you've really worked in I mean, I know we're not calling it urban music anymore, but that's the space that you've worked in most of or all of your career, right?
Right. Yeah. Urban and rhythmic CHR. So I am biracial, and you know, so I've gotten hatred on both ends. I've gotten the, oh, she's not Black enough, she's not white enough. Oh, aren't you Hispanic? You know, and oh yeah, you're cute to be Puerto Rican. What? If you're cute, you're cute. Who cares what your, you know, ethnicity is? But I've dealt with that on both ends, you know. But in the urban arena, I don't have a problem using the term urban, because you know the term urban has referred, you know, to the Black culture and lifestyle, and I don't find it offensive. Some people are finding it offensive. But yeah, it's city. Exactly. You know, growing up in Cleveland, Ohio, you had the city and you had the suburbs, period.
Is that where you're from, Kelly? You grew up in Cleveland?
Yes, I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, but I am a military brat. So, you know, I've been everywhere from Jacksonville to Virginia Beach to San Diego, where I was born. So I've floated, and I've seen different lifestyles, different cultures, and I've experienced different people, different senses of racism. I mean, everything under the sun. So, you know,
I think people need to travel and just go somewhere else besides their little bubble, and you would be exposed to different cultures. And I think look at life.
I know. But some people don't want to. They don't want to. I think only like a quarter of Americans, maybe even a little bit less, have a passport. I mean, and you can't use it now. You can't even go to Canada, y'all. I mean, come on. Mexico shut their borders to us, for crying out loud.
Right, you know, and usually, you know, we're the ones, you know, claiming to want to shut our borders to Mexico, and Mexico's like, leave that shit over there, the States.
Okay, and maybe we should address Andrew Meyer's question here on Periscope. Will you vote for Kanye? No.
I don't think
so.
Alabama wants to vote for him. Like after I saw that last
Yeah.
report that came out that they were concerned about his mental health.
Well, this is an
distraction.
ongoing thing. This is an ongoing thing for Kanye, right? I mean, he's after Kim was holed up in the hotel in what was it, Paris, right? I mean, he's had his mental breakdowns. I don't know where does he take medication? I mean, clearly he kind of needs it, but
Come forth and he said he's actually been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So he does take medication. And actually, I really think the onset was after his mother passed away. She had a surgical procedure, and it was like a cosmetic surgical procedure.
Right.
And he went to another country. I want to say it might have been Colombia. And unfortunately, she didn't make it. But Kanye has not been the same since. But you know what's sad is I don't want to vote for Kanye. I don't want to vote for Trump. I don't want to vote for Biden. I didn't want to vote for Kamala Harris. Like there has not been one candidate that I've wanted to vote for. I didn't want to vote for Bernie. I think the only one that may have intrigued me was Elizabeth Warren. And it might be because she was a woman and she seemed like she, straddled the fence and she kind of played both sides. But I haven't seen a strong candidate.
I know what you mean. Not that we need to get super deep into politics and have all the rage-filled Facebook users come for us, but I mean, I'm a registered independent. I mean, I just, you know what? Facebook is funny. I mean, Twitter too, all of these social platforms, but those two in particular are where everyone is like, will come for you and try to cancel you. I remember taking a trip to Ireland like 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. And the guy that ran one of the bed and breakfasts that I went to in Northern Ireland, where it's still, a UK, like they pay homage to the Queen, homage, I should say. And I might be starting to slur. We'll see. This is I just poured my second. That's what happened. And the guy that ran it wasn't an Airbnb, the B&B at the time, he goes, "You'll be fine as long as you don't talk about politics or religion in the pubs," right? And if you're being polite in polite society, which is kind of gone, it's gone. People are not polite, and like I said, I only delete people or unfriend them or unfollow them when I think they're an asshole. It's like we can have a difference of opinion, yeah, but if you're an asshole, you're an asshole. Why would I want that in my world? I don't. So
right.
I don't know. It's just unfortunate, But
I know we can't even disagree anymore. It's not like, okay, yeah, well, or you're Republican and you're Democrat and let's get along. You don't see that anymore. It's like you're a Republican or you're a Democrat, and I'm not going to hear you anymore. And that's
right.
And I hate the title of Republican or Democrat because I hate to say it, but there are some things and beliefs that I lean more towards the Republican side. I was brought up as pro-life. That's what my mother taught me, and she taught me with good reason. And so I am pro-life, but at the same time, I don't feel like it's my decision or my place to tell any woman what to do with her body or her unborn child. That's her decision. That's between her and God. Me personally, if I was to get pregnant, even if it was by rape, God forbid, but I just don't believe I would kill my child because that's how I was taught and how I was brought up, So I also,
you respect that. That's the thing. You respect that because
yeah,
right.
It's crazy.
But we're getting deep, but we all know somebody. We all of us, especially as a woman, somebody who has had an abortion. You probably know several people. It's like, that was their choice. I've never been pregnant, but
I've been one and done.
Yeah. Yeah.
One and done. And my son, he was a blessing. I had him when I was a teenager. And there were many people that were like, hey, maybe you should, terminate this pregnancy because, it's going to be very hard. And I just wasn't raised that way. So I guess what? I raised him, and thank God I found a great career in radio that helped me to raise him and expose him to things that I would have never been able to expose him to or experience things, like going to Universal Studios for the weekend free of charge. All we had to do was get our hotel,
I know.
I'm going to the circus all the time.
That's such a good feeling story. It's like, there is something so positive to everybody's life story. And I think like, I'm glad to hear your story, but I think like we can have different opinions, and I don't think people can do that right now. And that sucks. My mom is actually a politician. I could,
Mm.
yeah, she's an elected official. I could never. She's like, oh, you want to run? She's a city council person. I'm like, I
In
can't.
Dallas or where?
In the city of Cockrell Hill where I live. It's like
Okay.
inside Dallas. And she's been doing it for 20 years. So
Wow.
I'll actually go out, I'll knock on doors and, ask people to vote. I pay for all of her, like I'm the campaign manager kind of deal, which is funny. And it's funny because people are scared to vote in the Hispanic community. I am from the hood. Like I live in the hood, which is crazy because I do country radio and people are like, what? You're in country radio and you live in the hood? I'm like, yeah, because listens to country radio. But people are like Hispanics are scared to vote because, and I've knocked on doors. I'm like, hey, you want to vote? And they're like, no, because I got a ticket or something. No, Michelle's not married. My mom's been asking the same thing.
Why even me there, Michelle?
You know what's funny? When I went to
Radio is hard, I think.
when I went to get my physical yesterday, the doctor's like, so when did you get your pap smear? And and I'm like, well, I had it coming up in March. He's like, well, I just want to make sure everything is good down there.
Yeah, I know.
I know the doctor. He's a male, by the way. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, as far as I know, other than my mom asking when I'm going to have kids, I guess everything's okay.
Yeah. You don't know until you try sometimes.
Like, yeah, with the pap smear, my GYN, OBGYN told me that they've stopped recommending every year. Like you can go up to 5 years without one unless you're high risk. So like, if you're not, now I don't know your sexual behaviors, Michelle, but if you're not just really passing out coochie, it should be okay. Now they said if you're highly promiscuous and sexually active with multiple partners, then obviously every year. But no, they said you can go up to 3 to 5 years without doing it. So
Are you single, Kelly?
Yes, I am an unwed woman.
Oh, well, yes, I know. Well, if you've ever bought a house, as I have a couple times, the documents all say, so-and-so, an unmarried single woman. They really want to drive that home.
I know.
Weird.
I know that when I
Bizarre.
buy my house, I'm like, do you have to rub it in?
I know, right?
And why does it matter? I mean, why does it matter if I'm married to somebody that makes 30,000 and I make 80,000? Not that I do, but I'm just saying, like, why does it matter if I qualify by myself or with someone? Why do we have to rub it in?
I bet you it's a hangover from the early 70s. I don't think a woman could get a credit card on her own until the early to mid 70s.
Oh my God.
That's the truth. It's the truth.
When I asked, they were like, well, we want to make sure like you in the state of Texas get to own your own property. Like if you ever have a divorce, then it would be half and half. That's why we have to put a single woman so nobody takes your property. I'm like, believe me, nobody would take my shit.
Yeah.
Ain't happening. I know my OBGYN back in Florida, she always used to just go, so have you just met anyone special yet? And I'm like, Nope, haven't. I think that ship has sailed. I'm okay. I would like to meet somebody special, but so far he is in the witness protection program. I don't know where he is. I swear to God, I don't know where.
You may have met him. You just don't know you met him yet.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's Robert. Hi, Robert. How are you? I know he's joining us. So let's see.
How do you guys share this link? I would love to share it. I just don't know how.
You might just be able to go to my Twitter or my Facebook and just share it. I think. I mean, it's public. I mean, maybe you'll have to do it later. Hey, tell me males also have to do a pap smear for down there. No, you have to turn and cough, my friend. How does a guy not know that? Like, he doesn't know what a pap. It's your papilloma, my friend.
Oh, you know what? Is that what it stands for? Papilloma? Oh,
I think so. That's what HPV is, the human papilloma virus.
Right. So I knew what that was.
Yeah,
that's like some new school shit right there, because like we didn't hear about that growing up, and like now it's like very common for anybody that's 30 and younger. Like I know a young lady that actually was diagnosed with it, and when she told me what it entails, I'm like, OMG! Like I'm so glad I didn't have to deal with this growing up.
Yeah,
I mean.
Well, no, like something like 75% of sexually active people have some, I think there's seriously like over 100 strains of HPV. And so 75% of people have had it.
Yeah, you'll never.
And usually it's not a problem, but it can cause cancer.
I saw that I mean, I was on the news yesterday that the younger that you are now, you can get that HPV vaccine. And like under 10 years age, they can get it. And I'm like, it sucks that we were past that and that we were never given the opportunity to have a vaccine for a cancer that we could get, and it's good that there is that development that hopefully there's future cancers that we can come up with.
I know, but you know how people feel about vaccines. Talk about division. I mean, it gets crazy. I had people every year. I have people tell me that because I got the flu vaccine, I'm going to die. I'm like, okay, well, I'm still here and I've been getting it for a long time. So what you going to do?
It's a matter of whatever works for you. Like, again, that's people putting their views off on you. I know what I do. That's like me saying, hey, I run a 3K 3 times a week and you should do the same or you're not worthy. Like, who cares? Like, I do what I do. You do what you do.
I hate running. Won't do it. Won't do it. I ran. I mean, I wouldn't even say I used to run. I would do like fun runs. But one year I was actually kind of bullied by the morning team that I was a producer for in Seattle at KZOK. They not bullied, but they kind of goaded me into running the Seattle Half Marathon, which is in November. It's like at Thanksgiving time or something like that. And the guy, the main host or one of the hosts, he said he was going to jump in halfway. So I was like, I got to go. Like if he makes it to the finish line and I don't, I'm going to catch hell for this. And so I got on the bus at the University of Washington, actually, and it took you out to the starting line. And the finish line was somewhere around the University of Washington, 13 point whatever miles. And I got off the bus, and I don't know if I sat funny or whatever, but I got off the bus and my knee went like this.
Oh,
and
wow.
I tore my meniscus getting off the bus at the starting line. But I had no way back. I mean, this is before Uber. I had no way to get back home. And so I ran. It took me 2.5 hours to hobble my way to the finish line. I had to have my parents come get me because I'm like, I can't drive. I can't walk. My knee was like this big. And, whatever. I'm not a runner.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I probably would have gave it up after that too.
I know.
Goodness.
Yeah. So what's radio is such a crazy place to be right now for everybody. What would you guys like to see happen in your careers? I mean, what's the goal? What's the dream? And where do you go from here?
For me, I would love to obviously continue radio because radio is the first love when it comes to media. But I would love to,
Kelly.
Do more with TV. Like I was doing TV in my current situation before COVID, and like when everything happened, they called me and they were like, "We can't have you at the TV studio anymore. You're a liability. We don't know what you've been exposed to. We love working with you, but we can't have you here anymore." And I was just like kind of bummed after that, so I would love to have and when I say TV, I don't mean like reporting the news because the news is so depressing.
Yeah.
And I really feel like it gets into your spirit and it dampers, your mindset and your mood and everything like that. But I would love to do something like open conversations and commentary and, learning about different things when it comes to culture and lifestyle. And healthy healing and healthy eating and stuff like that. Like that's some of the things that, intrigue me where you just can't stop the music and radio and talk about it. But for a select audience, you can do so, with film and television. So that's where I would look.
You can do your own thing with Facebook Live or IG Live or whatever. And I will tell you, there was a TV show that, I've done a bunch of TV with HSN and TMZ Live. They're always looking for people to comment. I haven't been on there in over a year, but there was a TV show that was and is syndicated out of Tampa with the NBC affiliate there. And they, as HSN, they've started going with Skype. That TV station can do it. If you can find out other ways that they're doing it, and I can ask for you, Kelly, how they're doing it exactly. Because I don't know the mechanics of it. I just know that they can bring me in using Skype, and they do like a radio roundtable. We just give opinions about things in the news, like Kanye running for president or whatever. And it's possible. And that is the way that everything is going. I remember when everyone was sent home, I remember watching Entertainment Tonight. I'm like, these people don't even have a light or a decent microphone. My microphones cost me like $50.
Right.
I was so appalled actually that a
What
national
kind of microphone do you
speaker-
have?
Movo, Movo,
I know.
Movo.
My microphone cost me $400, and I actually invested in this. It's the one that we have in the studios.
Okay, yeah. But she's using. I mean, but yeah, Michelle's using like that kind of microphone. I'm just using like literally like a little lav microphone for
Yeah,
this.
you can get it on Amazon, right?
Oh yeah, that's where I got them. Movo. I think it's a great inexpensive brand, and I actually have some wireless ones, but I keep messing up with that, so I'm just using this stuff. But yeah, I mean it's doable. I mean this light costs $40. That light costs a little bit more, but because everybody during COVID wants like a ring light, you know. It's like,
I was about to say, why are you guys so bright? It's the lights.
I know,
'Cause
yeah.
have just natural sunlight shining in.
I know.
I'm like, I'm looking at red. What's going on?
it takes so much light.
You can
Huh?
get it for $20. The
What?
ring, with
Ring
the-
light?
yeah. with
Where? Amazon?
the eBay.
Oh, on eBay?
Yeah.
Oh,
You just put it around the camera. Is that what you do?
No, it's actually it has the stand. Well, actually, I can show you.
Mm-mm-mm.
Let me turn it off. So it has like the actual connection here, right?
Okay.
So you can change it, and then it has here it is.
Oh, that's a big one. Wow.
No, that's what is that, like 10 inches or something?
I think so. And then you
That's
put
what
the
she
phone there, and so the phone can actually hold it when you do actual is for like clients and stuff. But I mean, it is. This one was like 20. I don't even think it was $20, and it's on a stand, and you can change
Nice.
the lights. It has like obviously different.
Yeah. I mean, I think the overall message and the message I'm trying to help other people that have come to me asking me how to get into voiceover. And I'm like, well, it's not overnight. I've been doing it for over 10 years. I have a great microphone that was it was expensive. I mean, I'll be honest, it goes for like $1,000. I got it for $800 at sweetwater.com.
That's where I got my phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What'd you get there, Michelle? You're excited. That's where I got mine.
And my board. This little
Oh,
board
really?
mixer.
See, I know your studio is amazing. Really? Dang, look at that.
That one is actually 150, I believe.
Really?
That's your home
Okay.
studio?
What's that?
Is that your home studio?
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
I just built it. I really did. I bought this thing on eBay, the background, this damn thing right here. What do you call it?
Okay.
That was also really cheap. Like you can go on there and go to eBay and it is also cheap. I bought this now that I'm showing you. This is the arm handle for like the computers. That was also like $30. So it actually has several hands so you can have your multiple computers, because now we're taking phone calls. Actually, I think Atlanta was the first station to have phone calls through Vonage.
Yes,
So-
I'm doing that too. Yeah. I'm back on the air Sunday actually, but yeah.
So I use that computer to go into the one that I'm talking to right now to record those phone calls. So it's easier through the board. But it was like $1,000, investment.
But you know what? Here's the thing. I know, and I've told people that still have jobs in radio, whatever, and I've been telling them for years. I'm like, invest in yourself. You need a studio. You're not going to regret buying this stuff for yourself, because although there are some people on certain websites saying, hey, while you're unemployed, we would love you to work for us for free and whatever, which is terrible. But there are ways to make money. I mean, a lot of ways with your voice. I mean, everything from audiobooks to just corporate videos and commercials, which is what I do mostly. And, it's a process, but you may as well start the process now, I say.
Might as well while you have the free time. I was actually on Instagram earlier, and there's a new cartoon coming out on HBO. It's called here it is. It is called Young Love. It's coming to HBO Max, and they're looking for voice actors. And they posted that, we're in need of voice actors, and they're looking for diversity. And it's like, wow, who would have knew? And that's something you can literally go into your closet, like you said, put up some styrofoam on the wall. If you want to go that, extent, have your microphone and record a demo and send it. And who knows who might bite the bait,
Yeah. Amen. No, I just because I have a new agency here in Atlanta, BMG Talent, Models and Talent, and they're sending me stuff with castingnetworks.com. And I've been on there for a long time anyway. So everybody can see what there is available. if you create a profile, but they're casting for, I mean, different reality TV shows. Like, I think it's called The Worst Cook in America or something like that. I mean, my food eventually looks very good and it tastes very good. But I'm a disaster. I mean, I call my like fake cooking show Kitchen Disasters, which there may have already been a show by that name, but I don't think I'm the worst cook in America. So I'm not going to submit myself, but I'm just saying, like, for anyone else, go for it. I mean, submit yourself for these reality TV shows, just any avenue you can do to get a little publicity. I mean, I was on TMZ for almost 3 years, like once a month. I never got paid for any of that. HSN is the only TV programming that I've ever been paid for, but you do it because it gives you exposure, it gives you experience, and, it broadens your appeal, I suppose you would say, or your qualifications. So I say do it.
Definitely. And then social media too. You got to think about all the people that are these like social media gurus. And, you got to ask yourself, how can I turn this into money? Because there's companies out there that will pay you to run their social media platform and to manage it, because you have people that are 45 plus that are like, no, I don't want any parts of social media. I didn't come up on it like you did. I'd rather pay you than to do it myself. And why not make money if you can,
I'm telling you, at 45, you're not old. I'm just saying.
No, by no means necessary.
They should have been early adopters at 45 because that's when everything was happening.
Yeah, but I see it all the time with people, that own their own boutique or their restaurant, and you go to their social pages and it's like, and then you meet the owner and it's like, you're not even that old. Like, why aren't you relevant on social? But they'll pay somebody to do it because they're not willing to learn it on their own, Well,
and that's seriously a great opportunity for everybody in radio, because that's one of the things we're good at.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we were some of the first learners, Right. Some people level up and some people, they don't, they get caught behind because they don't want to change with the times, but I know there's a guy I know in Southeast Texas, and I love him. He's 70 years old and he listens to my show, and he doesn't live too far from where I live at. So we've talked a few times, and like, he's the guy on Facebook, posting 6-7 times a day and good content. And I'm like, what do you know about Facebook at 70? And he's like, I pay all my bills online. What about you? I was like, yeah, I do, but my aunt doesn't, and she's a lot younger than you.
That's amazing. I mean, that honestly is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, some people change with the times, and some people just like old school radio stations are always going to be relevant because there's certain people that don't want to adapt to the new era of music. Their happy time is the 90s and the 80s and now versus, the now, so. I guess, different strokes, different folks.
I know. And do you have people coming to you for advice too, Michelle? I'm sure. Because how long have you been on the air there in Dallas? I mean, that's where you launched, right?
Coming up on 16 years. And
it's amazing.
The funny thing is people don't believe that. And it's kind of been hard because people look at you like you're just a young girl that just started in the business. And it's like,
you're like,
yeah, I'm like, I've really been doing this. Look at me closely.
Work it, girl, work it. No, you don't have it. You don't have it.
But that's been hard. It's been difficult because some people don't take you seriously. Like I've even had like clients that they're like, there's no way she's been doing that. Like you have to convince me. And I'm like, really? Okay.
Well, all they would have to do is meet you, I think.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't think. And I always hate to say this or whatever because it's playing a card, I suppose. But when I was unemployed, I had a program director say to my face, I said, "What are you looking for?" He said, "Well, I want to hire a man." And I'm like, "Okay." I mean, instead of somebody that's from this town or whatever, I'm like, "Okay, whatever." Instead of really kind of taking you for everything, they've already got their minds made up,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
before they even post that opening on the internet, 90% of the time the job is already filled and they know who they want. They're only posting for EEOC purposes.
I know. And it's terrible. And and because we're in the entertainment industry, they can do that kind of stuff because they're casting for a role. It's terribly unfair. But I mean, that's why, especially now, and especially if somebody's out of work, I just say work on a passion project. If it's through Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, or all the above, or TikTok until the government cuts that off or whatever. Just do it. Like, do whatever it is. I mean, I started doing like this happy hour in the cooking show or whatever, because first of all, I was bored. I'm home alone. You know, I don't talk to anybody I know for weeks on end. But you know, I mean, you just never know what's going to spark the inspiration in somebody. And frankly, you're going to develop skills. So just do it.
Right. Absolutely. I agree 100%. I mean, that was kind of like, you know, how I got into radio. I started radio as a receptionist, and I just really wanted to be on the air. Not when I got there, because I didn't realize that was my calling, but I knew it was somewhere in the entertainment arena. But I just really needed a job because I was a single mom. And, you know, I kept giving them my demo, and I know I was so weak. I still have those demos like on a cassette tape somewhere in storage. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, you got to find those and play those for like a throwback Thursday or something. How I mean, I know I have a cassette somewhere about that I made when I was leaving Seattle. Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
And by the way, my cassette tapes, Memorex. Whatever happened to the brand Memorex? Do you guys remember
that? I have a T-shirt that I got at Target that says Memorex, and it has like the whatever. Damn, it's so good, so good.
Yeah. Definitely. But yeah, I didn't have any experience, and they were just like, yeah, you're probably going to have to go to a really small city to get a shot. And I'm thinking to myself, go to a small city. Like, I grew up in Cleveland. Like, this is where I'm from, and this is where my support system is. I'm not going to leave. And lo and behold, eventually, I was promoted to the programming assistant, and I got a shot on air, but I only had a Sunday show. So I had the Sunday show, and then during the week I was the radio station receptionist. But because I was full time, you know, I was able to do the weekend show, and then eventually they gave me the programming assistant position. So, but when they eliminated my position, they also eliminated my shift. So I ended up in a small city, which was at the time Charleston, South Carolina. And it was the culture shock of my life, but I was able to discover myself and really hone in on my craft and discover my talent. And I have no regrets. It was just kind of like making the best of the situation. And it's funny because I actually took a job with Cumulus in Myrtle Beach before I took the job in Charleston. And I couldn't find a place to stay based on the salary that they were paying, which was which was under $25,000 for a full-time position. And so long story short, you know, because I had a kid, I had to do what was best. And then I had Charleston, which was a private owner. They were like, hey, come work for us. We'll give you X amount of dollars. You know, it's a 4-book market opposed to where you're at is a 2-book, and we'll give you APD. And I'm like, whatever that means. Okay, fine. Let's do it. You know?
It's more money. Well, I mean, I do want to know from you, ladies. I mean, did you guys have a mentor, do you think? I mean, I think the woman, when I worked for the Robin and Maynard show at KZOK in Seattle, which Danny Bonaducci is now the morning show host there. And so this is a long time ago. It's like 20 years ago. I would say that she was more of a mentor, but I didn't really know or appreciate what that could mean, or that I needed one. I mean, I've had lots of people ask me for advice. I can't say I'm really mentoring anybody in particular, but did you have a mentor? I mean, how did you know the steps to make, or how did your career sort of happen?
It's funny because the person that hired me obviously became my mentor, and he does middays on The Wolf, which is my competition right now.
Oh, wow.
So
he like programmed you. He knows how you work. He's like,
so we're on middays. I'm on KSCS, which is the other country. There's 2 country stations in Dallas. He's on The Wolf. I'm on KSCS. I came up on The Wolf doing overnights, came to KSCS to do nights, and then I came to middays, and then the Cumulus bought us both because I left Wolf, and he was like, I totally get it. You know, I'm your mentor. I've been here. I've walked you through the whole thing. And it's funny because now that we've been in the same building, he would come into the studio and congratulate me on my ratings and say, hey, kiddo, you beat me. And I'm like, this is so crazy. He's so awesome.
I know.
You know,
that's good. That sounds like a good, healthy, you know, rivalry, I guess is the word, and relationship. That's good. How about you, Kelly?
Mentorship. Yeah. And my mentor was probably a guy too, you know, unfortunately in the entertainment business, specifically radio and TV, you know, women, we tend to be a little bit more competitive and catty. So it's easy to fall under the mentorship of a male. And for me, it was a guy that when I was doing answer the phones, he was doing afternoons. And I just really loved the way that he touched the community, and he was so active in the community, and how, you know, we would all go out and support his functions and his parties and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I would love to do this, you know. But and I remember talking to my landlord, who was also a friend of mine. We lived in like one of those houses in Cleveland. It's like an older house that was like this huge house that they turned into 2 separate units. So he lived upstairs and I lived downstairs.
Yeah.
And I was telling him, he's like, so why don't you just go for it? And I was like, well, I don't really have the experience. I've never done it. And he was like, you just got to get out there and do it. Like, you got to go for it. And I was like, yeah, right. I don't have experience. And like, I talked down on myself and tried to be a realist. And he was like, yeah, you just got to go for it. And eventually I went for it and I did it. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it's like, I'll always be forever grateful for him. And he has no idea how much he inspired me to just, you know, go for it. And, but I always referred back to that young man who's now my, you know, I guess you can say indirect mentor, you know, as far as, hey, I want to apply for this job. What do I need to do? Okay, you need to do this. Or I'll send him my audio and my ear checks. Hey, what do you think? Okay, you suck. This is how you can improve, you know? So, you know, it was a process, but, you know, definitely established a great friendship behind it. And, you know, we just kind of ended up, you know, doing the same thing. And now it's kind of like, we give each other advice. I'll listen to his air checks. He'll listen to mine, and we can be, you know, very candid and open with each other.
That's good. Well, I mean, I wish you guys both like all the success in the world. I don't want to take up any more of your Friday night, but I'm so glad to see you guys and meet you guys. And I mean, anything I can do or anything you need or whatever, or you need a phone call, like maybe we should be each other's phone calls. Like, I'd really like to hear that new Thomas Rhett record.
Yeah, women need to stick together more like this, you know, put our differences to the side, stick together and support each other, because it is sad that, you know, there's more men in the business than women, you know, that we can, you know, resort to. We should be able to call each other instead of a guy. I love men, don't get me wrong, but, you know, no one can understand a woman better than a woman.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I don't think I'm trying to think if there's any women that I've really ever had like this with. It's been like old men and just not so old men, like whatever. Like, I'm not trying to step on your toes, but you know, it's just, everybody is unfortunately on edge, especially in this industry, because this is what we know in every industry. I mean, people are losing their jobs and everyone's nervous. And I mean, honestly, I would help anybody in any way that I know how. I mean, it doesn't hurt me in any way. It's that whole like, oh, you know, you don't want to give somebody the attention that's like dimming your light, or however that saying goes, after 3 margaritas. I don't know. So
you've always reached out. You created this community behind the scenes of nobody knows. She has this whole like thread of women that, and you've fostered that. And a lot of people, and I've reached out to the women that I know, and I'm like, hey, join in, because like both of you have said, I don't think like, and this is a sad thing, like women don't celebrate each other. And you notice when people don't celebrate your wins, and it's like, okay, that blows. I know where you stand, but you shouldn't be that way, because I'm celebrating yours, and we should.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you know, somebody else's success. It's funny because what I talked about this at this Women in Radio function that was here in Atlanta. Bryan Cranston, you know, the actor. And he talked about, you know, because somebody asked him the question. It was kind of like an actor behind the actor studio or whatever that was called. It wasn't that, but it was similar to that. And somebody asked him about auditions, you know, jealousy. Do you feel jealous when somebody else gets the job? And he goes, you know, it's like, to me, it's like finding a wallet that's not mine. It's not mine. It wasn't meant to be mine, you know.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Yeah, but I'll have to post this video, you know, I'll have to post this video that he did, because I've referred back to that. And even George Clooney, I love George, love him. But he said something about auditions, and he said, you know, I had to stop going to auditions, like hoping that they like me. Because that's when I was going to interviews, that's what I was like, oh, they just need to like me. My resume speaks for itself, whatever. But he said, I started looking to be the answer to their problem. Because that's the thing. Everybody that's looking to hire somebody, they have a problem. What's the problem? They need attention. They need, you know, somebody to fit this role or whatever. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great advice out there. And those two things spoke to me as far as, you know, if it wasn't meant to be your job, it's not your job. You go there interpreting the copy or the job, and you are who you are. And if you didn't get it, it wasn't yours to begin with. So there's no reason to be envious.
Yeah, no doubt. And that, there's so often because we work in radio, we'll see, a publication come out or a story in one of the trades where it's like such and such has been appointed program director or, on-air personality for, Atlanta or whatever the market may be. And I even found myself doing it before where I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
How the hell did they get that?
Yeah.
And it's not for us to question, like we can't have everything. Like, can you imagine how boring the world would be if everything we thought we deserved we had? Like, life would be useless, and there has been positions I've applied for. I'm not going to lie, where I'm like, wait a minute, this person has 2 years experience. They're dry on the air. They don't have the social following I have. They don't have the experience. How did they get it? And I had to, kind of, hey, Kelly, wait a minute, what's for you is for you. Like you said, it's like finding a wallet that's not yours. And honestly, I don't care if it's $1,000 in that wallet. I'm going to return it because it's not mine. And I would want somebody to do the same for me. So I love your analogy on that. I'm going to have to adopt that.
Okay. All right, girl. All right. All right. Well, before I let you guys go, what do you have planned for the weekend? What are you doing? What are you up to? Working?
Oh, I have to work. I have to track tomorrow. Yeah, I have 2 shows to track. I'll be prepping.
Yeah.
That's what I'll be doing.
Yeah.
Well,
You'll be getting, so for people that don't understand, some guy was like, is this a radio convention? Yes, it is. And because there aren't going to be any of those this year, I don't think.
No, none whatsoever. None.
It
For
sucks.
me,
I love those.
I'm doing this like live. It's going to be like my first appearance since the pandemic, guys. So keep me in your prayers and well wishes.
Right.
It's going to be completely outdoor, but it is a local business opening up a restaurant. And it's a dine out restaurant. So, carry out restaurant. So I'm going to go and I'm going to make a quick appearance. It's completely on my own. It's not through the company. But I just want to support local businesses. And so I see one that's, coming into play and I'll be doing that tomorrow. And then on Sunday, I'm off furlough. So, back to work.
I know. Well, you guys are amazing. I love you both. And hopefully we'll get to do this again soon because maybe when this is all over, we can have like a champagne happy hour and I'll have all the women that I've had and more, because I can have up to 10 people on this thing at once. I love this. I love this.
Nice.
Anyway.
I
All right.
look forward to it. Definitely.
Oh, good. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate you. And I hope you wish you continued success and I hope you have a great weekend.
Thanks, Corey.
Thank you.
Bye. Nice to meet you guys. Bye.
Bye, Michelle. Bye, Corey.